Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's BJD DollFam, and today we have a Q&A kind of thing going on, and we got a story time to tell you. So let's see what we got in store. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's BJD DollFam, and today I've decided that I wanted to do something a little different than what I've done on my channel up until this point. I know I've done a lot of unboxings and outfit reviews and things like that, but I recently got notification from YouTube that I am allowed to have community posts. So I know a lot of you have been liking and commenting on those posts, which I am very thankful for. I appreciate your feedback. And well, one of the first posts that I put up, I was asking if you guys wanted to do a story time of how I kind of got into the doll collecting hobby. If you wanted to see an outfit update, or if you wanted me to do like a get to know me Q&A kind of thing. And looking at the votes, the story time and the Q&A were like very neck and neck. They were kind of like a split 50-50. So I just decided to go ahead and try and do both in one video. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the story time. So I'll do that, and then we can go and do the Q&A. I have a list of 14 questions. Yeah, I have a list of 14 questions. I may not do all of them, but I figured I could do that and have you guys get to know me a little bit more. So, story time. I would say earlier in this year, so around January of this year, was when I actually started getting into the doll collecting hobby. And I started with resin BJD, and that was just something to get my feet wet, and I wanted to dive in and kind of see if it was something that I would like to do, and if I liked the dolls and things like that, because I had always seen them before going to conventions, like anime conventions and things like that, because I've been attending those since 2010, and ever since then I've always kind of been attracted to the like dollfies and things like that, but I never jumped into the hobby. I couldn't justify it, and I was always nervous that there was just going to be some kind of hurdle or something, especially financially. I just at the time couldn't afford to do it. And now that I'm an adult, and well, a much older adult than I was when I was 18, and I'm making more money with my job than I was then, I was like, you know what, now is the time for me to finally heal my my inner adolescence and see if this is something that I would be interested in, even still to this day as a 30-year-old adult. So I went ahead and I ordered my girls. I know you've seen pictures of them in the community post, and I have them here with me. I'll show them off individually. But I do need to preface my next statement, and it's kind of a taboo topic to talk about this in the community for sure, and it is buying Recast dolls. And for me, back in January, getting into the hobby, it was very intimidating because there was a lot of places that I was trying to use as resources, and there was just kind of a wall. It wasn't always easy to access, and the community was kind of terrifying. You know, watching it back in, 2010, 2011, and seeing how the doll collectors acted then, it was just very intimidating because, of course, they're really expensive, especially buying directly from, artists or big companies and things like that. And it just, there was a level of, I really don't want to say elitism, but that is probably the best way that I can put it, right? Is, you've invested all of this money into a product, you want to show it off, and, if people come with a knockoff, so to speak, like use Coach as an example, or Gucci, and you go into the main store and the products are, it's like $600 for a purse, but you can find a reproduction of one for $20 on, the corner in New York somewhere. It's a knockoff. It's not a actual name brand. And that's basically how Recast is. Well, that is exactly what a Recast doll is in the doll community. So it's not an original, it's a reproduction of the original, and it's frowned upon. I'll just put it that way, especially with the doll collectors that are very much into the hobby and go to doll meets and things like that. If you talk about Recast, there are people who are pro Recast. There's people that are neutral, which I would probably say, in my experience, I am leaning more in the neutral side just because of my introduction. Again, I'll get into the story in a little bit. And then there's people who are like anti-Recast, and like if you even mention Recast as a word, they want to burn you at the stake. So that's just kind of the different aspects of it. And the reason I fell under the neutral side is because when I was getting into the hobby, and again, I explained before, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make the investment for dolls and things like that. And, I'm browsing websites like eBay and Facebook Marketplace and things like that, and I'm seeing a lot of dolls, but ones that weren't really interesting to me. And I decided I wanted to look at AliExpress. I know there was a few YouTubers that I've watched that recommended AliExpress, especially for some resin BJD and things like that. So again, me not really ever using AliExpress before, and it is my fault for not doing a deeper dive of research to figure this out. I went on there and I found the girls that I have, and they were significantly cheaper than if I was to buy the legit versions. Again, I didn't know. When I was on AliExpress, I thought that this shop was their brand of doll. So I purchased them because I was like, oh wow, these are even they're not legit, but they have like certificate, COA, and they come in like legit packaging, and it matches from what their description is. So like I was under the assumption that they were just inexpensive BJDs, and it was a good entry point for me to get into the hobby. So I was like, why spend $500 US on a resin BJD when I can get one from here and it's like $100. Like, yeah, it may take 3 weeks for it to get to me because it has to ship internationally from like China, but like, whatever, it's fine. It's significantly less money than, some of these other ones, and I feel like it's a good entry point. So I bought them. And I do actually love them, and I love their posability and accessibility and things like that. But after I got them, and there is a Recast neutral group that I communicate with, and I posted pictures of the dolls. They were asking me where I got them, things like that, and I told them the shop I ordered them from. And then that's when I realized, just with their communications, they were just like, don't post them on like Den of Angels, and don't discuss where you got them from, this, that, and the other. Kind of like hush hush, don't talk about it. And I was like, well, why wouldn't I want to talk about it? Like, I just got some dolls, I want to interact with the community, and I want to do things like that, but why are you telling me to like be like down low, like low key about it and not talk about it? And then that's when it dawned on me that they were recasts. And I decided to look, because the place, and again, this is kind of me being oblivious and not really paying attention, but then I went to Denver Doll Emporium, which is where I would get like clothing and accessories and wigs and stuff like that. And I've known about Denver Doll for a while, and I finally decided to go on that website, and I found the legit versions of the dolls that I now currently have that I got from AliExpress. So, I wouldn't say, like, I don't talk about these girls. I do take photos and stuff for Instagram with them. And it's not something that I'm admittedly proud of, just because I now collect a lot of Dollfie and Smart Doll, more so than Resin Girls anymore. And, you know, it's a part of the story and a part of who I am. And the reason why I lie in that recast neutral area of this debate is just because, you know, I felt like it was a good entry point to see if I liked the hobby and wanted to progress and go further. The other side of that is that, you know, they're being made, and, you know, they deserve to have a home to go to and stuff as well. So no judgment on my end for my story anyway. And to be completely fair, from what I've seen, and this is the part that makes me laugh, and again, I know this is controversial, but apparently the quality of these specific dolls, which by the way, all three of them are recast minifee dolls, is that people were saying that the quality of these recast dolls were actually better than some of the legits sometime. Again, I know that's a little subjective, and I know it's a controversial topic to even be discussing this right now anyway, but I do want to address that I understand the error of my younger and naive ways as a newbie in the community and not researching more. But anyway, I'll go ahead and introduce you to these girls. And again, I'm not promoting you to go to AliExpress and buy recast dolls and things like that, but again, they are part of my doll family now, and I feel like they should have their proper introduction, and I should have the opportunity to discuss on how I got started and put myself into the hobby and how I've grown and where I stand and stuff now. So, first doll that I'm going to start with is a minifee, and I'll try and let me fix her necklace real quick. Anyway, I'll start with her. This is a minifee. Mio is the head sculpt. From my understanding, this head sculpt was retired. Again, I didn't know that this was a discontinued head sculpt, and that they don't make this anymore in the legit dolls. And I got her again without knowing that. So had I known that, and it would have been a little more obvious that she would have been a harder to get one. So yeah, I don't really know where I was gonna go with that, but yeah. So this is the minifee Mio. Her name, I actually don't think this is the only one I never gave a name to. I'm going to say I think that her name fits. I think she looks like she looks like Eliza or Lisa to me. So there you go. I just named this doll, and I've had her since January. So let's see, 10 months later, almost a year later, and she finally has a name. But anyway, and she's in the normal skin tone and on the active line, the A-line body. And she has the smallest bust option possible, which is essentially non-existent and flat-chested. And yeah, so she is a resin BJD, so she's kind of snappy, as you can see. Her posability is actually really good, and there's the elastic on the inside that's kind of keeping the doll together, so it is different than your traditional like Smart Doll or Dollfie Dream that I have already had and shown on the channel. And the other neat thing that I like about these dolls, and this actually is on the legit too, is that the hands are interchangeable, but they are magnetic. I don't know if you can see the little magnet in there. So yeah, those pop on and off really easily, which are pretty neat. Yeah. And they do also have heeled feet as well, but for the sake of the video, she just has her regular ones on. But anyway, so this was Lisa. Let me fix her shoes. This was Lisa. And this next one, so this girl is the minifee. I think her face sculpt is Sia, so S-I-A, so like the singer. Her name is Alice, and she is different because she should have come on the active line body, but I put her on the Mo or Moe line, which is actually a little smaller than the other one. The body itself and everything, like the torso and stuff, is all the same. She has the largest bust size possible. And her hands and stuff work the same. I apologize that she's extremely kicky. I don't have them sueded, so she's going to be very snappy. So I do apologize about that, but she is in the white skin tone, so she actually looks like a porcelain doll, but she is smaller. So this is the Mo line here, as you can see. And then let me get Lisa back up here. And Lisa is the active line. So you can see there is, let me straighten her legs. Because she is not wanting to cooperate today. So there we go, straight legs. As you can see, you know, Lisa has actually got a couple inches or a couple centimeters on her in height, so she is a little smaller. She was one that I ordered just because I thought I loved her face up. I thought she was really cute, and I wanted to see the different body size. So I got her in the Mo line because I knew it was going to be a little different. Another thing that's different with the Mo line than the active line is that her feet are smaller and they're also magnetic, like the hands. So for Lisa, if I was to change her foot, I would have to worry about actually getting it hooked properly with the elastic and stuff. Whereas with Alice, I do not have to worry about that because her feet are just magnetic, so they can just pop on and off. It's real easy. I actually wish they would do that with the other dolls in the active line, but I don't know the logistics on that. And my last girl here, she is a minifee Alaya head sculpt, and she is a fantasy sculpt. She has elf ears, so she's my little elf girl. And her name is Rose, and I've had her again. Well, I got all three of them at the same time, but the thing with her that's neat, I don't know if you can see, she has a custom face up, and she's got little freckles. I don't know if you can see. There you go. She's got freckles along her face, and I had them blush her face a little bit. And her ears, so to give her a little bit more life in her face, and I made sure it was a little bit darker, but I did request the custom face up, which was awesome that they were able to provide that for me. And again, she is also on the active line body. She has a couple of extra inches because she has platform heels on, which is fine. But yeah, so those are the three girls that I got. They are recast. but they are the only recasts that I own in my collection. They were what got me into dolls, and then once I got a little more comfortable in the hobby is when I shifted from resin girls to vinyl, and then I started getting Smart Doll and Dolphy Dream, which was awesome. And I actually really do like my Dolphys and Smart Dolls. And I like their quality and stuff better. Again, that's what you get what you pay for, right? You know, so sometimes when you get recast, whether you know it or not, they tend to either be sometimes smaller, sometimes their recasting is bigger than the original. It really just depends on the company that's doing it. And again, the quality that you're going to get is questionable. So you can get one that's great, you probably wouldn't be able to tell, and then there's other ones that you're looking at it and you're like, they cut corners. You know, so it is what it is. And that was kind of my little, how I got into the hobby, and I accidentally bought some recasts without doing research. So my only advice to you is, if it's too good to be true, it most likely is. If you're going to buy a doll secondhand, absolutely go into legit only, or a trustworthy Facebook group, or for like marketplace and things like that. Do your research. Don't be like me, and learn from my mistake, and you will absolutely thank yourself later for that one. Especially if you want to get into a community like Den of Angels, because Den of Angels, if you post a recast or even mention recast, just casually talking about it, even, you know, that could result in a ban and people basically witch hunting you. So just know that for a tidbit. So anyway, with that being said, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the Q&A portion. I know we're at about 20 minutes or so in on this video now. And I don't want to bore you for too long, but we can go ahead and answer a couple of these questions. So stay tuned and we'll be right back. Okay, and we are back, and we're going to jump into our Q&A. And as you can see, I have a list full of questions, so we can go ahead and get that started. So the first question, what are your hobbies? I'll start off with a pretty simple one. So I have quite a few hobbies. I'm one of those jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. And first and foremost, I collect dolls. I am a doll collector. As you can see, I have Smart Doll. I have Dolphy Dreams. I have my resins that I have over there. You know, I collect all different types of dolls. And another like fun little interesting fact about me, I guess, I collect Pokemon and like Pokemon cards and things like that. So I also have that. Another big hobby of mine, I am a video gamer. So if I'm not working or being an adult and, you know, having to do chores and things like that, I am sitting back and probably playing a video game, most likely Final Fantasy XIV. That is my like daily driver. And my other games that I'm currently playing, since we're on that topic, Modern Warfare 2 and Splatoon 3. So I kind of jump between a couple of different genres as well. So we can go ahead and knock that question off. And it's really going to tie into my second question. So what are your hobbies? And then the next question is, do you collect anything? So I already kind of discussed that. So yeah, I have doll collection, I have a Pokemon card collection, and yeah, that's really as far as like big collections go. And then my other smaller hobbies of interest or collections of interest, I do Disney popcorn buckets and pins, Disney pins as well. So number 4, third question, what is on your bucket list? So a bucket list for me would be, it's actually a lot of overseas travel. First and foremost, going to Japan. There's several things that I actually want to do and see while I would be visiting in Japan. One of them being going to Akihabara and doing a visit there. Tokyo Disney is a second stop for me, specifically Disney Sea. That's a park that I would absolutely love to see. No, like pun intended. But I'd also like to go and see the Japanese Volks store, the Mirai store for Culture Japan, the Gundam, is it Gundam Front? Is it Gundam Front or Gundam Base? I don't remember. I'm also a really big like Gundam person. I used to build the model kits very heavily, but I kind of drifted out of that and started collecting BJDs and things like that. So yeah, the Gundam store, or the Gundam place where they have the big giant RX-78, like that's another thing that I would absolutely die to go see in person. And then my second bucket list destination, I'll put it that way. So Japan's number 1, Ireland is number 2, like Ireland and Scotland. I know that Ireland and Scotland are like 2 different places, and they're not like close together or like remotely identical, but those take the number 2 spot. So Japan, and then Ireland / Scotland is the second spot. So let's go on to our next question. What is your favorite holiday? And I'm actually glad that this one ended up on my list because it is a holiday that just recently passed. So Halloween and spooky season is my favorite holiday. Fall is my favorite season. Pumpkin spice is my blood type. And basic is my personality. So you can go ahead and make fun of me for that one, but that's fine. I totally own up to my basic nature in the seasonal change. And that's fine. And let's see, our next question. What is your favorite color? My favorite color is orange. It has been since I was 5 years old. I couldn't give you an exact reason why orange is my favorite color, but I've always just adored the color, whether it be, natural redheads, or just in general the color orange. So it's just always been a favorite. What is your favorite TV show? So this one's gonna be a tough one. If I had to go with favorite show of all time, people are going to laugh, but I am a child of the 90s. Rugrats was my favorite TV show, even still to this day. When I was younger, it was actually funny. My parents used to, like, if they had to go and step out and like do chores and stuff and they didn't want to take me along, they would just put Rugrats on and then they would just leave me at home by myself. So I'm like 6 years old, left at home by myself, but I just sat in front of the TV and watched it the whole time, so like they didn't care. I just realized how bad that sounded, but like, no, they would just put Rugrats on and I would just sit there and watch it the entire time. And still, even again to this day, I am 30 years old and that show like is what stuck with me to this day. And I will die on that hill. It was a great show. So, next question. Have you ever met a famous person? So, I have actually met several famous people, but I'm going to talk about my specific personal favorite interaction with a celebrity, and it was back in, I would say, 2011. Yeah, it was like 2011, and I was in culinary school at the time, and I ended up meeting Woody Harrelson. If you don't know Woody Harrelson, he was in the show Cheers. That was where he kind of started out, and he was also in Zombieland. So he's actually a relatively older actor. He's been a while. He's been around for a while, but the dude is super cool, super nice, super friendly. I had really good interactions with him. He was filming for a series at the time, and they were filming around the property where my college was, and they shut down the whole area in downtown Baltimore. So it was right off of Baltimore Street or whatever, and they had the whole area blocked off because they were filming, but they couldn't deny the students access to the school because the school was still open. So we were able to walk through the set to get to school, and it was just kind of in passing from his filming and stuff. He would pass by the school, and we would just sit there and talk to him in between his takes and stuff. Super nice guy. I cannot speak highly enough of him. And let's do, let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna do this last question, and then we're gonna end it from here. And it says, do you consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert? And I think this is an excellent question, because if anybody's ever really curious, my personality type, I am a combination of both. I'm not going to say I am one or the other. I am an introverted extrovert, or an extroverted introvert, I guess is the best way to put it. So I'm actually a relatively bubbly person. I know that sometimes it may or may not translate well on camera, but I tend to be a very positive person. I have a very positive outlook on things, and I try and maintain that and carry that throughout my day-to-day life. And there is a time where I do either get overstimulated or I'm around a lot of people and things like that, and then I kind of clam up and need to go in a corner, and I need to be in a space by myself so I can recharge and re-energize and things like that. So I do actually like aspects of both, and I pretty much do fit into the areas of both, but short answer of everything, I am an introverted extrovert. And I think a lot of people can relate, especially with the way current world events and things have been. Sometimes it's just kind of better to be off to yourself and just kind of have your normal group, however big you want your group of friends to be, and just kind of intermingle with that little tight-knit group of people and just kind of being to yourself. So anyway, without that, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Anyway, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and end the Q&A portion, because this was about 10 minutes, so we're looking at about a 30-minute video coming up, and I don't want to keep you guys for too long, and I do appreciate you guys tuning in and helping this channel grow. We're very close to 100 subscribers, so we are just trucking along this journey together. I'm loving how everything has grown and being able to interact with you guys, and YouTube kind of unlocking different areas of places that I can interact with you and get feedback on the channel and maybe video ideas that you want to see. So I definitely appreciate that. Please keep your eyes tuned to the community tabs, because I'm probably going to post there. And I'll probably do something similar to how I did for this one, where I'll do like a poll of what people want to see and things like that. I think that would be very fun. So if you guys liked this video, go ahead and like the video itself. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you want to get notified when there is a new video, hit the notification bell. You can share the video with your friends if you want to. And if you want to, you can just join in the fun down below in the comment section. For sure, you can answer the questions that I asked myself in the Q&A portion. You can put your answers in there so I can get to know you guys too. If you want, you can share your stories on how you got into the doll collecting hobby and your opinions and things like that. I'm very open for those types of discussions. I do not want anything mean or vengeful or anything like that in my comment section, especially if we're going to talk about recasts. I know that was a topic of this video, but I do want this to be a safe place with no judgment from anybody. So you're welcome to your opinion, but please keep it in a manner that is not, how do I say this? In a manner that is not kind of degrading or looking down on anybody for making those decisions. So that is their financial decision, and you know, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. It was a pleasure to see you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.